Welcome to the Business Spotlight. My name is Jada Walker. I am your host for today's conversation. And my guest today is Scott Schiller. He is the Wealth Management Fiduciary at Platinum Wealth Solutions of Texas. We'll be talking about his business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek at what it's really like to build and operate a business. So, Scott, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here today. I would love for you to give us a little bit of your background of who you are and tell us a little bit about your business as well.
Sounds great, Jada. Thank you for having me. Yes, so I am originally from Austin, Texas. That's where my home and business currently is. I grew up here. I went to school out at Florida State University in
Nice.
Tallahassee, Florida. That's where I went to business school. And I've been in financial services my 20th year. I'm celebrating 20 years of helping people with their money.
Yes.
It's always been the profession I've been. I've always done this, and I've had a number of different roles within the industry. But mostly prior to joining Platinum, I was with a big insurance company named Jackson National Life. And my job there was in corporate sales. Think of like a drug rep for medical doctors. I did that
Okay.
for financial planners, financial advisors. And so I was always
Oh,
licensed
cool.
and received tremendous amounts of training and education there from big company there. And I really got to learn the business from the inside out and learn mostly what how advisors operate their businesses, how they serve clients, what to do, and very importantly, of course, what not to do, and set me up really well for coming into private practice and joining Platinum 4 years ago.
That's cool.
Mhm.
I don't feel like I've ever really talked to someone who has had your job. So I'm going to be very interested in it. So let's
Yeah.
actually set the stage for our viewers and listeners real quick. Generally speaking, what does your current ownership structure look like? Like, are you a sole founder or are there like partners or anything like that or investors?
So I'm an associate with a firm of planners. So there's 13 advisors and planners that work at and belong to Platinum Wealth Solutions of Texas. I do not own Platinum Wealth Solutions of Texas.
Oh,
We each operate our own separate businesses. So we have our own clients and our own businesses within there.
yeah.
So they're there to provide support for me, training and guidance. Everything else is on me. Expenses, how to operate the business. Everything else is really up to my decision making with the firm. And so I get the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
I own everything going on, but at the same time, I'm not completely alone.
I like that. I really
Hmm.
actually like that because it's like being an entrepreneur, I feel like it can be very lonely. And especially if like you don't know anyone else that's in that world. So I like how you have people that are there along the way with you to like kind of help you and guide you along that way. So that's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
So
yeah.
many
It works
business
out great.
Yeah. Many business owners, those especially newer to entrepreneurship, feel as though they don't have enough time. So I'm actually curious, based on your experience, if I were to give you an extra 10 hours back each week, how would you invest those hours?
Oh, wow. So 10 hours a week I get just bonus, right? So I would
Hmm.
spend, it would give me much more time on marketing, creating content, following up with potential networking opportunities. Mostly just on marketing and obtaining new clients and new business is where I would spend extra time on.
Hmm.
Most of that is, all of my, non-extra time, I guess you could say, is dedicated towards client service, client accounts, the management of the day-to-day business. That's most important, of course, which is managing and setting up my existing clients for what they need.
Awesome. So actually, speaking of your clients, so what do you actually do for your clients? I don't think I even asked that question earlier, so I would
Yeah.
actually like to hear about that.
Okay, so Jada, I'm a certified financial planner, and what that means is it means I passed a very difficult exam, and I spent lot of time and a lot of money, and it also allows me to become what's called a fiduciary, and fiduciary is this wacky term. It's probably the most common question I get, which is what is a fiduciary?
Yeah,
And the
when I saw that
technical,
word, I was like, what is
yeah,
that? I've never
what
even
is
seen the
that?
word.
I know. It's a weird, wacky word. It's just a fancy term that just really what it means is this is a person who is in a position of trust. So
Okay.
somebody who is legally responsible for what's happening regarding finances. And so essentially what it means is when my clients come to me and they ask me, "Hey Scott, what should we do?" Or what is the, here's what I, and through a series of questions, and I have a whole financial planning process that I follow and we can get
Hmm.
into that later. But the idea is at some point in time during the process, it's okay. What do we do, Scott? And I'm at a stage. Let's pretend I'm at a stage where I can give recommendations and start providing guidance. We should do this or we should do that. And in that scenario, in that situation, it must be and is required to be in their best interest. So my client's best interest is the only thing considered, without no exceptions. Okay. And so that
Okay.
is the best interest fiduciary standard is the highest level of standard regarding financial planning advice. And so that's the setup. Platinum Wealth Solutions of Texas is affiliated with a broker dealer firm that we belong to named
Okay.
Osaic Wealth. No one's ever heard of it. It's a huge company. Osaic is spelled OSAIC. It's the second largest in the country. There's over 20,000 financial planners in the system. But what I'm
Oh,
getting at here
wow.
is it's independent, and what that means is that I don't have a sales manager behind me saying, "Scott, you need to position this type of product or that type of product or anything like that." It sets me up so that there's nothing in between me and what my clients' needs are. And so I can be completely open and not have to have any, I don't have any quotas or mandates or anything like that going on. Um, and you'd be surprised as there's big name firms out there. I won't mention them on this show, but the idea is that they will provide all kinds of conflicts of interest incentives to position certain types of products with
Oh,
clients
okay.
that create vacation all the way up to and including vacation credits. I mean, it's stuff you wouldn't even believe is real. And so I didn't join those firms for that reason. I don't want to be in a position where it's like, okay, they're asking me and they're relying on me to give them the best guidance. And so option A sends Scott to Cabo, option B doesn't. Well, I don't want to be in that position. Okay,
Right.
that's an obvious conflict of interest, and so, but it's real. It's out there, and a lot of that is true in financial services, and so that was very important to me when I was setting things up. That I made sure that I was in a position where there was nothing between us as far as guidance and recommendations.
No, that's really cool. Because
Mhm.
I've never even, I don't think so, at least, not even on the podcast that I've actually talked to a financial planner. So that's really like, it's very different for me. So what type of clients do you have? Like, could I be a client or do you just help like maybe like businesses or like something like that?
Yeah, so I have a wide range of clients, all different ages. Some that are self-employed entrepreneurs, others
Nice.
that work for big corporations, and everything in between. But the majority of and the bulk is in what I market towards is millennials. So millennial professionals, right? And so I know that that's kind of a wacky. Of course it changes every year based on ages, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm of course, I'm 40. I'm in one of the older group of millennials.
I wouldn't have even guessed
And
that at all. Like I thought maybe like mid 30s because my cousin, he's in his
oh,
30s. You look like you're about my cousin's age.
well, look at you. I could use it. Hey, you're my new wing woman, by the way. I appreciate that. But yes. So
We'll hit the
yeah,
bars
so
downtown Austin and I'll be like,
yeah.
he's in the 40s.
Yeah, yeah, I think he's probably, I love that. That would be very helpful for me. I appreciate that. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so yeah, so millennials is usually late 20s to mid 40s is kind of and we can go plus or minus a few years here and there.
Right.
So think younger. Anyone in my line of work that serves people under the age of about 60 is considered young, okay? And the reason for that is not only is it someone I can relate to, given that I'm in this in again, I'm in the upper end of the demographic, but I'm in the demographic, right? So I know what it feels like to be in the situation we are financially.
Hmm.
And there's such a difference between older generations and our generation from from everything. In the way we handle money, the way we
Yes.
spend money, the way we save for to the future, the way we view the future, all of that is different. And so, I can really relate to that. But so that's one part of it. The other part is when I was deciding, okay, this is the group I want to serve. I wanted to make sure that I could serve a group where I could have the maximum amount of value, right? So the
Mhm.
decisions that we make financially in our 20s, 30s, and 40s are going to have the biggest impact on our financial lives later, right? So, if
Yeah.
I can, everybody that I do have that I manage money for in their that are in their 60s and 70s, and I love them too. Don't get me wrong, right? So I'm happy
Hmm.
to help them, and I treat them like gold just as well, right?
Yeah.
Um, but they all have one thing in common, which is if I just would have gotten to them earlier, if we just would have planned way back when, we would have been in a far better position, and I would have been able to
Right.
either help them make more money or prevent them from making that crucial mistake, and so on and so forth. And so, that's really why I serve millennials specifically from a marketing standpoint.
I like that because whenever you said millennials, I was like, yes, me. I'm like, I need your help, honestly. I feel like
Yeah,
I've been struggling, so I'm like, look, I'm really gonna hit you up after this so I can be like, Scott, I need your help. But
yeah,
no, I
yeah,
think that's really cool because then I also like my cousins are millennials. Like I think my oldest cousin, I think she just turned 40 this or she's gonna be 40 this year or something like that. So I'm like, I have people I can even tell them about you and be like, you need to go to Scott. So I like this. And
yeah, yeah.
and I'm gonna tell all my friends too. So before we get to the nitty gritty of the business itself, let's actually look a little bit into your background and what led you here. So why did you choose to work under this company instead of just doing your own company and starting like from scratch?
Yeah. So, all right. So, in my previous work, like I mentioned earlier, I was a financial services wholesaler, right? So, I would go
Yeah.
around all over Central Texas, and I worked in different areas too. I was in DC and Maryland for a long time as well, doing this job, as well. But in Central Texas, I got to know all the different financial planning, financial advisors, from all walks of life, all types of different businesses. And so, when I went to go and decide to join a firm, there's so much, groundwork that needs to be done to launch. So I made the decision early on that I didn't want to just go ahead and just start totally fresh, completely on my own with no support
Yeah.
whatsoever. It was just simply too overwhelming to be able to do. I wanted to make sure, and at the same time, I knew the folks at Platinum. I got to know them for years
Oh, that's
before,
cool.
and yes, and it is, Jada, it is shockingly difficult to find a place where the planners and the advisors genuinely have a process in place that benefit the client and the client only. Okay. You'd be
Hmm.
surprised at how hard it is to find that. It is very rare. We're not the only company that does that, but it's hard to find them. I don't mean to like pick on my own industry, and these other planners and advisors, they're not going to like steal your money or anything like that. We don't need to
Right.
worry that much, but they just simply don't act in their best interest. They have their own conflicts and put people into the highest commission products and things like that we just don't believe in, right? And so that at the
Yeah.
same, so I knew them really well. I trusted and trust them. It's a family owned place. It's really great. I like the people there, and at the same time, they have a really great planning process that follows the certified financial planning standards, board of standards, right? So it's
Yeah.
a series of seven steps, and it was just something I really resonated with, and so that is why I ultimately decided to go ahead and start my business and join Platinum.
I like that because it's like you're being more honest and it is like it's hard to trust people even with your finances anyways. And so I like how you basically were like we're really honest and the client is who benefits more than what you would. So I mean I feel like you still benefit because like you love your job and like I feel like it feels good to help people, but I like how the client is actually what is like the forefront and you care more about the client. I'm like,
Mhm.
my thoughts aren't coming together how I feel like they are, but I feel like you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. And just one last note on that. What sold me in the end, what got me, I was obviously impressed before I even, considered joining them. But the thing that got me in the end was I asked, okay, so after we had, really gotten everything else finished, I asked, how do we handle investment selection, product selection, right? So for
Hmm.
recommendations, and I remember the person that runs the firm looked at me and said, "Yeah, it's your call. It's your decision. You're in charge. You know the client. It's your call." And they've completely stuck to that, right? So
Yeah.
nobody's ever questioned any of the recommendations I've ever made, ever said, "Hey, have you suggested this or suggested that?" Now, there's times where I reach out and I need guidance and need help, things like that, stuff I
Right.
run into all the time that we're always learning, right? So then I need guidance. But as far as up until then, they let me decide what's best.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Hmm.
so cool.
Hmm.
So as
Hmm.
you look back on your journey so far, have there been any type of memorable roadblocks or hurdles that you were challenged with and you were forced to overcome?
Oh my gosh. Challenges. Oh,
You're like,
yes,
there's a ton.
yes. Oh gosh, yes. I would say this. So starting an investment advisory practice like this is one of the most not I won't say the most, it was very difficult businesses out there. It is one of the most difficult businesses to get started in.
Mm,
It's not like a heavy lifting business, like I'm doing a bunch of difficult labor or anything like that. It's just really,
yeah.
really tough to start out in. And so the statistics have been around for years and years. Over 90%, 90+%, Jada, do not make it past the second year of doing this. It's just daunting, very difficult, because you're building the ultimate trust relationship. And
Yeah.
it takes time. And so really the only way to accomplish it is a couple of things. Number one, either just simply have a family member, a mother, a father, an uncle, somebody who's just going to give you clients. Okay.
Hmm.
Where they've been in the business before you came along, and just gives you clients and just really gets you going. That's option. I didn't have that option. Option two is to have tremendous amounts of savings built up so that you can survive a very long period of time without having to generate profitable revenue in the business for quite a period of time. That otherwise we're going to be just set up for failure. And so,
Right.
I'm of course under option two there. And so to answer your question, the biggest challenge, of course, as always, is this new client acquisition, and finding people to say, "Hey, Scott, I trust you. Help me with my money." In other words, right? So, that has been the ultimate challenge. I've really passed that really difficult hurdle now in my practice, and so I'm very, very grateful and blessed to be past that. But there were many, many, many sleepless nights. Um, all kinds of questioning, where it's like, yeah, I'm done, I'm going back to the corporate world.
Right.
This is impossible. I'm finished. Because you hear every excuse in the world. My dog is my financial advisor. I mean, I've heard it all. And you live in
Like
a
what?
world. I know, I made that up, but you get the idea. I mean,
But it's funny because
just
I feel like that is what people say. Like they are like people just come up with random things to say, and it's like, what?
Sure. And I don't blame them. They're not wrong. It's their feeling. It's all good, but it's just difficult from to hear that, and to overcome living in a world of rejection. And it takes time, right? So, it may take me a couple of years before I'm really, helping somebody, managing their money, saving the money, making the money, before they feel comfortable enough introducing me to somebody else, right? And so that's how I grow. I
Hmm.
grow from other introductions to people that know, like, and trust me, that run across their friends or their family or their girlfriend's friend who inherited money from a family member and needs some help. That's where it all starts. And when you first start out, day one, that's not going to happen. I mean, it takes
Right.
years. It's taken me years to get here. So anyway,
Have you had
many
any
challenges.
clients, have you had any clients come to you that maybe weren't so, like they didn't have very many finances, but like they were basically like, I need help type of thing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I have a client now. They have negative money. We're just working
Oh,
our way out
wow.
of debts, right? So now
Hmm.
I don't need to spend a ton of time with them, but the time that I do spend with them to help them is extremely valuable to them. And the stress relief has been ridiculous and awesome. Just having a simple plan of getting them back to zero and starting to get to zero, and then we start to build some wealth. So I have that all the way up to people with $10 million and more and everything in between. So I don't have
Wow,
any
that's
minimums or
wild.
anything like that. And then I know just through being in this business long enough that, and the problem is not getting is only getting worse, is that people need financial planning advice. The need for advice
Yes.
is never been higher, and it's only getting higher and higher. And part of the reason for that, Jada, I know it's a long-winded answer to your question. Part of the reason for that is the more information we have access to,
Hmm.
the more confusing it becomes, and the
No,
more
really.
right? And so
Yes.
we have ChatGPT. We have access to anything we want. Within 1 second, we can get an answer, and it's usually a very drawn out, nice summarized answer, right? So the more
Hmm.
access to information that we have regarding financial planning and our personal finances, the more now it's a great thing on that on in one part, of course, right? It's better to have access to the information than not, but the more that we have it, the more chances we're going to make mistakes, and the more overwhelming it becomes, and the more we face what I call decision fatigue, right? Where it's just like, I just don't even know what to do. Like, this is just exhausting, right? Because
Yeah,
I can go one of 100 ways. How do I know which one's the best way to go? I don't know. So that's where somebody that is in my line of work can really help. And I don't like to view people differently based on their net worth. Everybody's the same to
I love
me.
that.
I know that sounds crazy. Now, as far as time that I spend managing money and managing accounts, that will be determined a lot by what's going on with their assets and everything like that. So, as an example, somebody with a lot of money and a lot of assets um, probably has a lot of complex issues that need to be resolved and dealt
Hmm.
with. And so I'll end up spending probably more time doing that. Whereas somebody that doesn't, they're the same to me. They're a client. I love them just the same. And so whether it's $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, it's the same to me.
I like that. Because it is like there's so many good people that just they don't know where to start, like you were saying earlier. Like me, I don't know where to start. But it's like you just need that guidance sometimes. And I'm like, yeah, that's literally what I need right now.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm 30
yeah.
and I'm like, I need to get my finances together. My
I
boyfriend,
love
it's
it.
like he checks everything. Like he needs the receipts for everything just to make sure like it's correct in his bank account. And I'm like, I used to think he was psycho, but now I'm like, no, you just really like to know where your money is and where it goes and like if it's still there or not, whatever. I'm like, it's yeah. He was driving me nuts. But now I'm like, okay, I actually need to get on your level because it's crazy.
People
And
are
it's like I
different.
want
They
to
have.
do more,
Hmm. Okay.
but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people are different. They have different tolerances for that kind of thing. And you just say, like, look, here's the thing that's crazy to think about. The fear of the unknown is always worse than the fear of the known, right? But then we
Hmm.
get, but then we're so afraid to like even look at that bank statement or credit card statement at the end of each month because it's like, I don't even want to see it. I don't even want to know,
Right.
right?
But then I'm like, sometimes
And
how do you not know what you spent? You know, you bought this couch that's like $500. You bought this that's
yeah. Yeah,
I
it's important to know. Yeah, so I would encourage somebody that's like doesn't even want to mess with it because they're worried. They're afraid that they're spending too much or something like that. And it's not about that. Don't worry about that right now. It's the key is knowing where our money is. You work hard for it, right? Um, unless it's just handed to you. I mean, we're working hard for it, so we might as well have a good idea of where it's going.
yeah.
Um, Usually when we get started on the thing, Jada, it's amazing to me. I'll have people in my conference room, and I can now. I've gotten to the point where I can now not only hear it in their voices, but feel their stress go down. Just
And
knowing.
that's the best part is whenever you can like feel it or even yeah, just them telling you like I feel so much better after talking with you because now I actually have like a little bit of a plan and I know what to do moving forward.
We know where we're going.
Yeah,
We got
I
we
love
got we
that.
got a clear picture, right? And I'll be able to. And I've got a great system where on the big screen TV, I've got charts and cash flow projections and things where I can not only just talk about it, I can show them here's where we'll be in the future, right? So I say like
Mm,
financial planning is kind of it's two steps. Step one is like we talked about, like let's just get organized, let's build a balance sheet, let's understand how do we spend money and all of those things. And then the step two is okay, here's where we are, here's where we're going, here's where we're gonna be in the future, right? And so once we can
yeah.
start to see that path, especially a young person like yourself, as we look out to when Jada, you're in your 50s and 60s and beyond, um, the amount that the potential is so awesome. You really, most people leave in a really good mood and feeling a lot
Hmm.
better about what's going on with their money.
Yeah, I love that for them. So let's move on and let's talk about what makes your business so special. So why do you think your customers choose you instead of the competition?
Yeah, so a lot of times all right. So the most glaring one is a lot of times when clients will tell me all the time, right? And I always ask, in our first meeting is just introduction. I just get to know them. It's a lot of questions. It gives them someone a chance to ask me any question that they want. Get to know me, do some due diligence. I help people, with where to look up my licenses and how to do due diligence on advisors, everything like that. And
Nice.
as a point, I make it a point in the first meeting, there is no selling of any kind, zero. Okay. And I do that on purpose. In fact, it usually takes me about 4 meetings before I'm in a position to give actual recommendations. So to answer your question, what makes me different is if we go talk to the average financial planning practice, and I had a client come in who told me he went and interviewed other advisors along with talking to me. And I encourage people to do that. He was like, should I cancel the meeting? I'm like, don't cancel it. Keep that meeting, go, please. It's in your best interest
Hmm.
to to find out what's going on there so that you have something good to compare me to. Okay.
Right.
And they all say the same thing, which is they go see these people and they get pitched or sold or attempted to be sold a product, an investment, a solution in the first. Usually it's the first meeting. If it's not the first meeting, it's going to be that second meeting. Okay.
Yeah.
And they try to just get people in and just churn them in and churn them out. And so our process is of course very different. So that gives us a big edge. And of course my clients love that aspect of it and knowing that I'm going to have their back. And it's not about just selling them something. It's about finding what is going to be the best thing for them. And then at that point, yes, I do need to at some point in time say, okay, I recommend we do this. I recommend these changes or we do these different things. But it's all because we did all this planning on the front end. It all leads to that, as opposed to let me just pitch you my portfolios,
Right.
my investment choices, or my product, or whatever.
Yeah, because I'm like that way, the way that you guys don't do, it almost sounds like, yeah, like you said, you just want to get them in and get them out type of thing. Whereas your process, it actually seems like you care and you actually do want to help them with their finances. Like, and you're taking more time with them to figure out the issue. Whereas I could tell you one thing or with the other people, and it's almost like they just take that one thing and they're like, okay, like let's do this and then you want to buy this or like whatever it is that they do. Like, yeah, I like your process way better. It just sounds like you're more into it than the other people.
Yeah, I think it does help that I started out completely on my own as far as new clients. It's so
Mm-hmm.
hard. It was so hard in the beginning, right? And it's trained me to appreciate absolutely everybody that gives me any chance at all. So I take it very seriously, and if you genuinely care, it's going to come off that way, and that's how
Yeah,
how it's done. Yeah.
I love that. So let's
Mhm.
move forward and talk about what's to come next. So where do you see your business in the next 3 to 5 years?
Okay, next 3 to 5 years. So in my practice, my plan is to once I'm managing money for 100 families, I personally will be maxed out on how I can run the business. Client service and communication is the most important thing I do. Right. So my
Mm-hmm.
clients hear from me on a proactive basis. I do quarterly reviews. So every 3 months we get together and
Oh,
update
nice.
the financial plan as a living, breathing, changing thing. Most advisors out there, the average is an annual review, if ever you even hear from them. But it's once every 12 months, which for me is that's just too long. Too much
That's
time goes
yeah.
by. And so every 3 months they're hearing from me. And so 100 will be the maximum amount that I, Scott, will be able to personally handle without having to get to where I'm spread so thin. I'll start to have to sacrifice client service, which I refuse to do. So
Yeah.
at that stage, I will then need to expand into some level of partnership, either bring on another advisor, and start to acquire some staff, or if maybe it's fractional, something of that nature, where I'll need some help there. It'd be a great problem to have. It may take, the time frame on that is of course variable and just depends on where I
Right.
go. But next 3 to 5, I expect at least within the next 5 years from today, I should be able to reach that goal, and then create expansion from there.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a pretty good goal, especially because, yeah, because if you, a lot of people are doing word of mouth basically for you. It's like, I'm going to tell everybody. I don't, I'm going to tell everybody. I don't know if anyone needs you, but I'm going to tell everybody.
Oh, please. Well, thank you. That would be
Of
great.
course. Yeah, I actually, I have a girl, I don't know if she has one. She has her own business, but, she might have a financial advisor, but I feel like if she were to talk to you, she might vibe with you a little more. But she lives here in Austin, like downtown, and she owns a business in Round Rock. But I think she's trying to move it to downtown so that like more people will go to it. But she could definitely use a financial advisor. She's like her brain is all over the place. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be like,
Okay,
hey, I have someone that you can hit
cool.
up if you need any help, if someone else isn't already helping you. Um, but back to me asking my question. Sorry, that like I totally veered off. What has been your approach to setting goals, and how many goals do you set at a time?
Hmm. Approach to setting goals. So I don't have, okay, so by design, I don't set revenue goals, right? Because I can't control
Okay,
what's going on. I can't control what's going on with someone's personal finances and what
right,
their goals
right.
are, right? So I really, I do a good job, I feel like, of staying away from that. Now, of course, my overall goal is to grow revenue. And the more clients that I serve, the revenue will grow, okay? It'll take care of itself, is the idea. The better I take
Yeah.
care of the clients, the more revenue I should see. And as far as that type of goal setting, right now, as far as business numbers goals, that's where I am. I knew pretty quickly on, within the last 6 months or so, that 100 number, 100 total families that I manage money for, is going to be the most I can handle. That was pretty obvious for me here, just in the last 6 months. As far
Mhm.
as other goals go, one thing this year, so how do I go about goal setting? I do that, usually I do a main business plan at the beginning of every year,
Okay.
and keep it as simple as I can, so that and have it attainable as well, and just really stick to it, right? So, I write down, as I journal every single morning, right? So, I start my, I'm having whatever in the morning, breakfast, whatever. I'll write down like I will have blank. I will have blank by the end of the year, right? So writing those
I
out,
like that.
manifesting those, putting it out there in the universe, and that helps too, just to keep it on track. But it's nothing I make sure I don't make it like some impossible goal or something just super complex that's just too much
Right.
for me, my
Something
brain to
that's like not
handle.
attainable, basically. Yeah.
Right, right. So that's how I go about my goal setting. And then at the end of each quarter, I do a call with the leadership over there at Platinum, my principal and the support team there, and we talk about quarterly goals, and what we're looking to achieve every quarter, and how we're going to go about marketing and things like that. So I do that as well, and then yeah. So that's
I like
that's
that
that's
process.
that. Now I did have, like, as an example. So one goal this year was I wanted to, so I'm a certified financial planner. I also have another designation called certified fund specialist. And that just means
Okay.
that I know all about the different types of different funds. And a fund is just a basket, or an index, or a collection of different investments, whether that be stocks or bonds. That's what a fund
Okay.
is. And so I know, it just shows that I know a lot about funds and the differences between them. But I decided, I wanted to add another one this year. And on May 2nd, I'm sitting for the exam to become a certified exit planning advisor. So
Oh,
exit
nice.
planning, right? So businesses that are either gearing up for sale or, as I'm sure
Yeah.
not a lot of millennials are gearing up their business to sell. They can be, and I'll be able to help them with that. But also more specifically on the buy side, someone looking to acquire a business, I'll be able to assist with that as well. So that was just something that I wanted to add. So that was a goal this year as an example.
That's cool.
Hmm.
I'm like, you have good goals.
Oh,
Usually some
thank you.
people they don't even know what to say whenever I ask that question. So I'm like, yeah, you have good goals.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I love that for you. You have had a really interesting story, Scott. And as we wrap up, I do have a few rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Awesome. Okay, what is the key to success for you?
Trust and always doing the right thing. Always sticking to the basic foundation of if it's in my client's, it has to be in my client's best interest, no matter what.
Love that. What is one piece of advice that you have for other business owners?
Have complete faith and belief in what you do and the value that you bring. Never waver, never, having those sleepless nights and the difficulty, look at that as a good thing. And carrying through will make you stronger.
Okay, and then this one is kind of a fun question. If you had a bit of magic dust and you could sprinkle it on one part of your business, where would that be?
Magic dust? Oh my gosh. Where would that be? That would be I'd like to say, let's just have, 50 new clients come in the door, but all at once, that would be just too much for me to handle. So I would
Right?
say, okay, all right, have this magic dust have me reach my goal of managing 100 families, but not today, giving me time to build up to that so I can learn everything that I'm going to learn between today and when I get there, would be the best night for me. That's what I would use it
Right.
for.
Right. Because you're like, if they all show up today, it's like, oh, now I definitely need to hurry up and find somebody.
Can't handle that. I can't handle that. No, 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 no,
That would be
nope. It needs to be.
wild.
Yeah, I mean it'd be awesome. It would be awesome, don't get me wrong, but it would be too much, too much.
Yeah. I'm like, the mental capacity would be like
No.
that emoji that explodes. That would be your
Yeah,
brain.
mind blown. No, no, no. Can't do that. Nope. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, before we get to the final question of the wow, I almost said something else of the day, would you please share with our audience how they can follow you, learn more, and contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website, it's schillerwealth.com. Schillerwealth.com is my website. You can book a call there. My LinkedIn is just under Scott Schiller, CFP. And my Instagram is at CFP Moneyman is my handle on Instagram. And you can also find me on Facebook, right? So any one of those would be great. And I look forward to chatting with you soon.
All right. So we have come to the final question, and it is, what is most inspiring to you today?
I heard a story today actually about Tom Cruise. So, I just had like a neutral opinion on Tom Cruise before I saw
Same.
this. But there was a kid who was terminally ill kid who asked to meet Tom Cruise, and he initially said, they asked for a phone call, and Tom Cruise said no, and he ended up actually going to see the kid.
Oh,
No
nice.
cameras, no video, just did it. Just did it just to do it, and that was pretty freaking cool. So that was
Yeah,
very, very cool to see that and inspiring. Shaq is also does that stuff all the time. So
I
these
love
super
Shaq.
awesome celebrity, yeah, Shaq will go into Targets and WalMarts and he'll just buy people stuff. I mean, he's just an awesome, awesome
I'm
dude.
like,
So
Shaq, come
yeah,
to my part of Austin and
yeah.
buy me stuff, buy my groceries.
Right, right, exactly, right. So he probably would do it if he given the chance, knowing that guy. That just gives me inspiration, just to carry myself in that way and follow those steps.
Love that. Well, this
Mhm.
has been a great conversation, Scott. I have really enjoyed hearing your story. So thank you so much for sharing it with us today.
Thank you, Jada.
Yeah. And also, I encourage all of you who are watching to save this show and come back again and watch it later because Scott really did have some great insights for business. And please do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you can get notifications every time a conversation drops just like this one. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. And a special thank you to you again, Scott, for being with us. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure our audience does too.